HII delivers the most powerful naval ships ever built. That same innovation and dedication is applied to executing missions in complex and contested environments. We are leading the next evolution of national defense, the data evolution. That means anticipating emerging threats with C5ISR capabilities that enable a deep understanding of the environment across a wide range of assets. And with AI and big data platform capabilities that support threat analysis and cyber operations at an unprecedented data scale. Preparing warfighters for virtually every conceivable situation they may face with live, virtual, constructive synthetic training environments critical to the all-domain order of battle. Making vast expanses of the Earth accessible for defense, research, and commerce, on land, under the seas, in the air, and in space. With world-leading autonomy and the largest family of UUVs in every class, making transoceanic missions possible. Ensuring the world's most capable and resilient platforms are always at the ready, on the sea, under the sea, and ashore. Maintaining a safe, secure, and effective strategic weapons stockpile and executing complex environmental remediation through a legacy of disciplined nuclear operations supporting the Department of Energy's mission priorities. We do all of this with a talented, diverse, and innovative team that is driven to solve our customers' most complex challenges. HII, solving our nation's critical security needs by delivering the hard stuff done right, around the globe.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today with another episode of Finding Your Purpose with HII. This is a very special episode as we celebrate Veterans Day. Today, I'm joined with 3 other veterans here on our team. And we're really excited to share our journeys from military service to navigating those troubled waters through transition and ultimately landing a career here at Mission Technologies. So let's not keep everybody waiting. Let's go ahead and open it up. I'm sure everybody would love to learn a little bit more about each one of us. I know they would. I'd love to learn more about each one of you. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Dan, if you don't mind, tell everybody kind of who you are.
My Army story is probably similar to a lot of veterans out there. I grew up in a small town, single mom, not a great student in high school, not a lot of opportunity for civilian jobs. My brother actually served as a medic in Germany, got out, told me the ins and outs, and about a potential career in the Army, and went down, talked to the recruiter, made a lot of sense, and decided to join right there from a small town in Oregon. My first duty station, Italy, central Italy, literally 7 miles from Leaning Tower of Pisa. 18-year-old kid from the trailer park. It was pretty cool. A lot of different assignments. Actually got out of the Army for a while, was in the Texas National Guard. I looked around for a little bit and said, hey, let me get back into the camaraderie, get back in the game, rejoined, went back to Fort Hood, Texas, volunteered for recruiting duty. And then I finished out as a recruiter. And it was very easy for me going to small town USA, going into those high schools, because I knew what it had done for me. And so I knew I was helping people out. I knew we were doing a great thing for these young people, having this opportunity to go see the world, get some education, some training. And so I ended up doing 26 years.
So born in Puerto Rico, raised out in Los Angeles, then joined the Army when I was 18. And then kept on. Initially, my first job was in HR. After like 6 years of doing that, I volunteered to become a recruiter out in Los Angeles, California. And it was like right when the Iraq War kicked off. So it was pretty tough. It was the recruiting duty was probably one of the toughest experiences. With the war going on, nobody wanted to join. So I did that time, learned a lot, had a great experience, but then I had to get out and take a break myself. So I came back into military intelligence afterwards. And in that MOS, I was able to pretty much excel, take my career to the next level. So I did military intelligence for the last 11 years. And through that time, I became a sergeant first class, E7. And then I got selected and promoted to become a warrant officer. So I finished out my career as a Chief Warrant Officer 3 with the Army in the military intelligence. But before I finished and retired, I was like, I need to finish this degree. I need to get something done, check that box. But it really did help as I transitioned out, because when I was applying for jobs the second time around, I was getting hit up left and right by companies looking for somebody with an intel background, a degree, and plenty of experience to back it up. And that really helped out with my transition out of the military. And I got out because it was I was at the 22-year mark. So for me, I was like, all right, it was time to pull this plug and try something else, do something different.
I always wanted to join the military, even from when I was little. I wanted to join the Marine Corps, and I had pictures like all over my walls of airplanes. And but really what it came down to is what we called in recruiting. I don't know if you guys did this, but first to contact, first to contract.
Use it today.
Exactly. That was our saying. And I'll be honest with you, the Navy contacted me first, and I was going to go with whoever called, honestly. And I went in undesignated. Listen, you guys, I was an upper mental group. I had a high ASVAB score. I was like, I just want to be part of the team. You cannot make this stuff up. I look back and I'm like, you're crazy. But back then I was just super excited. So I went in undesignated, and I struck for a rate to become an aviation hydraulics mechanic. I loved working with my hands. I loved the idea of it. So I did that, and I worked on E2C Hawkeyes. I was a final checker, collateral duty inspector. And I will say, coming from a perspective of being a female in a male-dominated role, also I was the second female in my command. That was very interesting. For a little while, people looked at me like I had the plague, and they couldn't get near me or talk to me. And then honestly, I was just one of the team, and it was fantastic. I got to travel, do lots of things. I've seen so many places. And then I went recruiting, like I said. And that was a very tough job, but I fell in love with letting people experience what I experienced.
So everybody has a different story, but I don't know about you guys. Transitioning was, I guess, challenging is the best word for it, right? I know my transition, I had a command that was very friendly and allowed me to start the process 9-12 months early. I know that we're going to talk about SkillBridge. Rico didn't even know what that was back in 2017. But, I found myself transitioning kind of, I don't want to say lost. I mean, they give you a good foundation to build off of, but that's exactly what it was a foundation. I knew that I needed to apply for jobs, but really didn't know kind of what I was doing.
I will say that I honestly, for me, I felt very out on the street. So I left the Navy, it was great. And I felt like I was kicked out of my house. I decided to get out, and then I had no resources. I really, really had no resources. So we did TAPS class, because obviously we had TAPS back then. But TAPS is this big water hose where they're just feeding a bunch of information to you super quickly, and you're not really processing it. And especially if all you know is the military from 18 and on, you really don't understand like the civilian life and really how to like acclimate, I guess. So it was really hard for me to find my place. So some things that really stood out for me was, one, not having that community that I had. That was hard, not having them. So I did feel super alone. I would say the transition for me for about 3 to 4 years was pretty difficult.
You got discovered through LinkedIn, correct?
I did, yeah.
You did. So pretty important for the transitioning community, or if you're a veteran or even as a military spouse, because we as recruiters, all four of us, I spend all day practically on LinkedIn, right? And we're sourcing for talent. We're trying to find folks to be able to reach out to hear it come directly from you that's how you got discovered. Probably had a decent headshot on there, probably wasn't something in your military uniform, took the time to build out a profile to really tell exactly what you did. Because as a recruiter, when we run into that, I don't want to just spin my wheels per se and reach out to you if you're not hitting the qualifications that we're looking for. So it's definitely good to hear that you took the opportunity and the time to really invest into yourself, and look how it worked out. That's how you got discovered. Rico, as our SkillBridge lead, you lead the whole effort here at Mission Technologies when it comes to SkillBridge. If you don't mind, I know that there's probably still some things that us as a peer group still don't really understand with SkillBridge. Can you break it down for us really into an elementary way so that we can understand as well?
So this program, DoD SkillBridge program, offers transitioning service members during the final 180 days of active duty service an opportunity to do an internship or an apprenticeship or OJT or some kind of certification coursework to get certified. During that last 180 days, they get released from their command just to do that, and it helps them transition out into the civilian world, get experience with civilian companies, or get that certification that they've been wanting to get, help them transition into a new role when they get out of the military. So getting approved as a partner company, we have to build out programs, training programs. What we've done or what I've tried to spearhead with HII Mission Technologies is basically any job that we have on our platform, whether it's a program manager role, whether it's an intel analyst, a software engineer, a data scientist, you name it. Any job that we have, we can turn it into a short 2-page training syllabus, and then turn that into a program for a SkillBridge internship. And as transitioning service members get out, they could participate in that internship for anywhere from, we could flex based on their availability, anywhere from 30 days all the way up to the full 180 days. Now, of course, some military branches, they have restrictions on how long to participate for. They've reduced the amount of times, particularly with the Navy and Marine Corps and the Army. They've all reduced under 120 days. But really, that's not a huge issue because you're getting the maximum benefit usually around the 90 to 120 day mark for an internship anyway. So I don't discourage transitioning veterans to apply. What I do recommend, though, is for veterans to look at the positions that they have. You can do this with any company too. You don't have to do it with just ours. But if you look at our career site and you see any jobs that you're fully qualified for, fully approved to do now, you're just not available because you're still on active duty, then review the requirements, make sure you tailor your resume and apply for that regular full-time job. And if you get responses back from our recruiters saying, hey, you're a really well qualified candidate, we're interested in hiring you, we'd love to bring you on board, when are you available? You could tell them at that point that you're not available for a full-time hire, but you are available for a SkillBridge internship if the hiring team or the hiring manager is willing to support it. And most of our recruiters already know the deal. I've explained this to them. If we have a hiring team that's interested in a candidate and they want to bring them on board, then what we could do is turn that position into a SkillBridge internship for them, and then use that internship time to let the team and the candidate get to know each other. They build that relationship, build the rapport. They learn about HII Mission Technologies. We learn about the candidate and how they operate, and then it's all free of charge because they're still getting their military pay and all their military pay and entitlements. And transition over to our team went towards the end and become part of the team.
I have to say, I go to a lot of events. I go to a lot of veteran events and military events. And I will say networking and transitioning, that is the best way. I tell everybody I've never met a stranger.
And I would encourage every veteran that's out there or every transitioning service member, start early. If you're 9, 12 months out, hop on LinkedIn, send some messages. Folks like us, more inclined to sit down and have a 15, 20-minute conversation, not only about this company and how great we are, but how we can assist and help to really accelerate your transitioning. If you're a veteran out there, because we've all been there, this is my third company since I got out in 2017. I'll tell you, for me, this has really been like coming home. Not only because I'm surrounded by some fantastic veterans, but I'm also surrounded by a lot of fantastic people that have the same passion and love for our country like we do. Just because you didn't serve doesn't mean you can't serve in a different way. And everybody here does. And it's really impactful. It's very impactful for us to be surrounded by those folks. But what's even more impactful for me is to give somebody that opportunity to come in here and make a difference, to do something that's much bigger than any one of us could ever be. The culture here is inclusive. Everybody has a platform, regardless of position, regardless of pay grade, regardless of where you fall in the organization. They do truly provide this opportunity for everybody to have a platform to share your voice, share your ideas, and their embrace.
Touching on that, Daryl, real quick, talking about culture, I really feel like it starts just like in the military from the top down. The leadership sets the pace. And we were on a few months ago, and you hosted Todd Gentry, vice president there, and he had a little quote there that we take from how we recruited sometimes in special operations. And it's the saying of, C plus resume, A plus trust. That's a long-term hire. And so to kind of take a page off that, and that's our leader letting us know quite often, hey, that's what I hired you for. I don't have all the answers. I hired you. I'm going to set yourself up and surround you with the opportunities and go and make a decision. If we make a mistake, we come back, correct it, and keep moving forward. So to have that culture and the ability to hire that kind of talent is really rewarding and satisfying for me. And I just a little takeaway from me there, Daryl.
I've stayed with the company because they've given me opportunities to grow, like you were saying. Those opportunities, when you have leadership that recognizes your capabilities and your talents, plus you're also bringing ideas from the bottom up, and you have leadership that supports that. I mean, you can't get better than that. When you have leadership that is willing to give you a project that you came up with to make the company better, and the organization better, then they listen to it, and they're letting you have free reign to do it. For me, it's been an awesome experience to be able to do this now through the three companies. It started with the Lion Science Technology, building out the Skillbridge program. Now with Mission Technologies, doing it there. So I think that's one of the reasons why I've stuck with it.
Well, I will say, just as far as talking about Mission Technologies, I have only been here for a year, but I've really been waiting to come in with HII. Like I said, when I was recruiting with the Navy, I have this rare opportunity as a recruiter to bring people into what I do. And it's super important to work for a company, I think, that you really believe in, because I think it's very important for us to be genuine. And if I'm bringing people into a company, I need to believe in that company. And so I tend to only work for companies that I really feel great about and that I feel good bringing someone into. That's really important for me.
I wanted to also share a couple resources for veterans that, just the key takeaways. For finding your next living location, check out the My Army Benefits portal. It really helps with finding what benefits are out there for veterans and disabled veterans, retirees, families, what their income taxes be, what could property taxes be, what the education benefits are in each state. So they have a benefits library. Check out My Army Benefits portal. It's good for finding your next living location. Also, cost of living calculators. Do your research on cost of living calculators so you can figure out which places are going to cost more and help you determine what you'd have to make in order, the difference between what you're making now and what you'd have to make to sustain your cost of living. And then finally, the VA home loan mortgage calculators will help you determine how much you can get for your loan, but also what percentage rates are out there now for VA home loan mortgages. For determining your market value, another one that I always get a question about. How do I know what I'm worth, right? How much should I be making? Check out payscale.com, salary.com, glassdoor.com, or linkedin.com, the premium version. It's free for veterans for 12 months. All of those can give you a general aggregate, like a rough estimate of what you're worth or what your value is based on your education, your experiences, and your certifications, whatever you have. And then finally, for finding your next role, of course, I'm going to point you to HII.com/careers, or right above to the link, jobs.hii-tsd.com. But also check out LinkedIn.com, clearancejobs.com, recruitmilitary.com, Indeed.com, the Department of Labor website for veterans. They have a veteran-based one, and then of course military.com. Those are just a few websites you can check out and find your next career opportunities.
It's exciting times ahead for us, fueled with growth and opportunities. We're seeing some of that growth now as we continue to bring candidates in. So look, it's exciting times to be here. On behalf of the panel here, we want to say thank you. Thank you not only for joining us today. If you're a veteran, thank you for your service. If you're a transitioning service member, thank you for everything that you have done. Do not hesitate. Feel free to connect with all of us on LinkedIn. Reach out to us. More than happy to have a conversation. How can we help you? And better yet, how can we help you land here at Mission Technologies, a division of HII?
Happy
Happy
Veterans
Veterans
Day.
Day.